What's up, dude? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Sorry, I was watching something. My bad.
No, it's okay. Just don't get me copyright striked. I already have to dispute the music that I paid for and get that sorted out, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
You have had a whirlwind of a day.
No, that happened like a month ago. I just haven't gotten around to dealing with it. But yes, I have had a whirlwind of a day. That is for damn sure. That was not what I was expecting to see when I came back out there.
Yeah, I just saw the group chat and you like weren't even able to talk.
No. That yeah, but
anyways,
it has been a day. AB, how are you doing, good buddy?
I'm good, man. We're getting some snow here in Raleigh. Well,
yeah, it's been snowing here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so
it looks like the snow here is still on the ground and everything. It hasn't like it started to go away and melt, and then it snowed again, and then it's been like 17 degrees, so it's like not going away anytime soon. Like I had to like go scrape all the ice off my girlfriend's car in my truck this morning, and it was crazy. So everyone, what we are going to do here, this is not going to be a very long show because it's only a few slides. However, I am going to preview some of the other ones. AB will give a live reaction to tell me how much they suck, and and I will then go cry myself to sleep, hopefully after the Canes win. Lackey already asked if there was going to be damage report tonight. I will try, but I'm leaning towards more than likely not because I have to get up early tomorrow. So we will go ahead and get the slides up here. So first things first, this is just something I added just in case, because since I'm using the highly circulated logos of National Hockey League teams, I just want to make sure that I'm making it abundantly clear that I do not own any of that stuff. But more than anything, I want to cite the sources in which I get the data from. Those guys put a lot of effort and a lot of hard work into maintaining those websites, especially like Natural Stat Trick and Money Puck are the ones I use the most, especially Money Puck. So I just want to like start doing this to give a shout out to those guys. Additionally, I'm going to put a little banner during the starting soon part of the show down at the bottom. So that way it's like they can get the credit that they deserve, because those guys do a whole lot of hard work. I know that I rag stat guys sometimes for trying to make themselves equally important with the players, but these are not the dudes I'm talking about that do this stuff. So shout out to them. Additionally, NHL.com, the data that they compile, especially the edge data I use here. I occasionally reference Quant Hockey, Frozen Pool, DobberSports.com, which I think is a very underrated website. And as far as contract data, Puckpedia is basically all we got now. Thank you, terrorist organization Washington Capitals. Alrighty, so here we are. Here's the matchup that we have tonight. It is between the Carolina Hurricanes and Dallas Stars. It is their second and final meeting of the regular season. I do anticipate one day, not this season, but one day we're going to see these two teams in the Stanley Cup final, I think, AB. I feel like it's basically inevitable.
It's written in the stone.
I think so too. So the Carolina Hurricanes are now back up to the second place in the Metropolitan Division after winning last night. The big thing we want to look at here, though, the Canes are still got a little work to do as far as getting a better road record. They are 10-11-2. Dallas has been excellent at home, 17-6-1. Goal differential, Carolina has actually been holding pretty steady in that regard since about November. The last time I did the show, they were plus 23. Right now, they're plus 24. I'm hoping that that'll go up a little bit. Dallas is plus 33. They are scoring, and they're doing a lot of it 5-on-5. Goals for per game, Carolina is 5th with 3.32. Dallas is 9th with 3.17. So even with all the scoring they're doing, they're still kind of low in that regard. Goals against per game, Carolina is 8th with 2.79. A big part of that is contributed to October and the hot start they had. At one point in time, they were at 4 goals per game. That wasn't gonna maintain in everything. Goals against per game, I would like for Carolina to get that down a little bit more. I think they'll get there. If they could get sub 2.5, I'd feel a lot better about it. That being said, they still have an 84.9% penalty kill. We'll get to that in a moment. Power plays, this is where Carolina starts to have a special teams net positive, because they have a 26.2% power play as opposed to Dallas's 18.9. Carolina is 16th in the NHL. Dallas is 24th. That power play can come alive, though, especially when it's being quarterbacked by Miro Heiskanen, who is one of the best guys in the game at doing that. Probably the best pure two-way defenseman in the league, in my opinion, other than Cale Makar. Now, if someone said you have to save the world and someone has to kill a penalty, I'm sending out Heiskanen before Makar. If I need a power play goal, I'm sending out Makar. But Heiskanen is one of my favorite non-Hurricanes. I think he's just an incredible defenseman, very underrated, going to be very crucial for Team Finland in the upcoming Four Nations face-off. Special teams net positive, Carolina has a little bit of an advantage there with 55.55, but note the penalty kill there, AB. Look at how close that is. First and second. Yeah, if this becomes a special teams battle, Carolina's got to win it on the power play, because the penalty kill is going to be close. And ultimately, face-offs, Carolina 52.8 to 52.2 with Dallas. So we got a pretty even matchup here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, also I'll point out too on Dallas's defense that we've seen is they're not so much as a heavy forward check like Carolina is. They tend to drop back in their own zone and take away zone entries. And I feel like it's the same, with their penalty kill. They do a really good job of covering the zone more so of a man-to-man like Carolina does. And this is going to be one of those games where it's going to come down to special teams, because you have two great penalty kills on each side. The power play is pretty close. Dallas is without one of their best heavy check forwards in Mason Marchment. He's not going to be playing. He's been out for a couple of games. But still, I mean, that Dallas team is so dangerous. And even though they're 24th on the power play, they can light up in the heat of the moment. Like at any
given second, it can come alive. And another thing to what you were talking about with Dallas running the how they like to take away the middle of the ice in the neutral zone a whole lot, running like the neutral zone trap type of thing. That's going to be hell on Carolina with as hard as they have. Like Carolina has a great transition game. It's just once they get to the defensive blue line, that's where they kind of hot potato the puck a little bit. Dallas is going to exploit that tonight if they can.
For sure. I agree.
All right, so news, injuries, and scratches. Dallas gets Rope Hintz back tonight. Mason Marchman, as aforementioned by AB here, he's still out. It doesn't look like he's going to be back until about mid-February timeframe. Nothing new to report on Carrier that I've heard. What about you, AB?
No, nothing on Carrier. I assume he got a second opinion on his lower body injury I saw probably a week ago. But again, a key part to that heavy four-check line was Stahl and Martinook. But, we have depth, and curious to see if we are able to handle Dallas.
Yeah, absolute workhorse. Carrier is. He's one of those guys you don't really notice him until he's out of the lineup. Same thing goes for Martinook, Robinson, so on and so forth. We got a lot of those hardworking type of players. Dallas does too. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to put the lines in here, but we'll talk about them a little bit because I can pull up game day tweets and we can talk about it there. All right, so speed. Carolina's got a little bit advantage when we're talking about topping out on speed, but Dallas covering a lot of ice makes sense with the way that they play. Like we were talking about how they like to fall back into the neutral zone and kind of run the neutral zone trap type of thing. So like we were saying before, that's going to be rough on Carolina's transition game tonight. But with all that speed that Carolina has, it's going to be rough because they're on a back-to-back, and we'll get to that. They're going to probably have to do the dump and chase thing a little bit more tonight. You're not going to be able to have a bunch of good, clean entries against Dallas on a good night. So this is going to be one of those games where they're probably just going to have to work really, really hard, make it a high, just turn it into a high effort, low event game. And that would be their best chance to win, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of those too with those 20 to 22 mile an hour bursts are from Natchez. And that's covering the whole season. You see some with Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, Svechnikov, Orlov also can get in there and be quick. Gostisbehere, same thing. But at the end of the day, Natchez, he has been non-existent. And especially with that speed, you can see him on the power play and in zone entries. He's quick, but no matter how quick he is, it all depends on if he can handle the puck and get it to the right position and put shots on net, because I assume Ottinger's starting tonight.
Yes, he is. We've got slides for that.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, we'll get to that, and we've got a few comments here. Paniac, I can't read that, bro. No, I can't do that.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Not true.
The ball part though, but I am too. So
yeah, but the other part is not true.
All right. So anyway, looking at the shooting data here, as you expected, Carolina volume shooters, they score a little bit more often because of the volume shooting. One thing to note here, the shooting percentage is near dead identical with these teams, and looks like Carolina's getting goals from a little bit more variety of places than Dallas is. They're really relying on being like right there in that high slot area a little bit more than Carolina. Where Carolina has a big advantage here is their ability to pump shots from the point and score. That's going to be really helpful. Now, to the credit of this lady right here, a very good and frequent contributor to the show, and over on Caniac Sessions as well. She's always commenting on stuff with us there. Has to take away Ottinger's eyes. Kochetkov needs to seal the post, as Dallas likes to shoot for those gaps. And you can kind of see that reflected on Dallas's side of the map here. I wish y'all could see the cursor that I have on the screen here. But you'll see where they have 6, 11, and 5 goals there, right around the goal line, right in that dirty area, right in front of the slot. That's where one of the places where Dallas really likes to shoot the puck from. So yes, Kochetkov absolutely has to seal the post. And then they've got like right there in the high slot area, right between the dots, they're getting plenty of goals too. Carolina's advantage in this regard is going to be able to shoot from the point and get it done from there and go and get those greasy rebounds. But yes, you have to take away Ottinger's eyes. The best goalies in the world, you don't beat them with clean looks. And Ottinger is one of those guys now. Make no mistake. You have to go to the front of the net. You have to take his eyesight away. I don't remember who it was that told me it when I was the little bit I got to play when I was a kid. I had a coach that said no goalie is immune to blindness. So get in the way, make it hard for him. That's definitely one way to like get that done. So, but these teams like have a nearly identical shooting percentage despite the higher volume of shots that Carolina throws on. So this might be one of those nights where they need to do the high volume shooting, but really get greasy and go after those loose pucks.
Yeah, I mean, nothing else to add. I mean, you hit it right on the head. And also, even I've seen Carolina increase on those goals right in front of the net, especially on the power play of what Jarvis does on that left side when he sets it up and he can score right there or just pass it right across to Aho on the right side or that left side. But We've also done a really good job too at a little bit back in front of the net. We've had those screens, we've had those rebound shots, and been able to convert. Dallas, again, is also a gritty team, similar stats. It's just going to be a battle doesn't matter stats. It's just going to be a battle on penalty kill, power play, forechecking, how the Hurricanes enter that defensive zone. It's going to be an up and down game. I mean, this can go either way. So,
yeah. And another thing to highlight with all this, like this is going to be a 1-goal game. Like if Carolina wins, it's like Dallas didn't play. Dallas didn't play last night, right?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
All right, Heiskanen on my fantasy team, he didn't play last night.
So they did not play. Okay. All right, then zone time here. As you can imagine, Carolina has a little bit of, an advantage there. Now, the one thing I don't like about this data right here, I don't think it accounts for like the differences between 5-on-5 power play and penalty kill, because of course, like I think this is all recorded at 5-on-5. I don't know. I actually looked in the FAQs and I didn't see it. So I'm going to try to email somebody there and ask them, because I'm really curious to know. But this one right here just kind of illustrates like if a team like manages to maintain a lot of offensive zone time, how quick they are on transition, and how much time they spend in their defensive zone, and how long it takes them to zone exit. It paints that picture a little bit, in my opinion. It's not the perfect thing, but it is a cool thing to look at.
Yeah, I will say this. I think it also has to account for, the power play and the penalty kill, because I've seen Dallas play, and when people get it into their defensive zone, they'll clear it pretty quickly, unless they're facing a team that has a heavy forecheck. So obviously, I think that defensive zone would probably go up to 45%. Not 45%. I'd say below. I'd probably put that at 30. If I were to say something, I'd probably put the defensive zone for Carolina a little bit up recently.
Yeah.
But the offensive zone is pretty accurate, and the neutral zone is pretty accurate. So, yeah, that's a good thing to ask those people. So,
yeah, I really want to know, actually. All right, so now the goaltending matchup. This is where your expertise is really going to come in at. I'm going to let you totally have this one right here. And before you do, though, that's what I have on the next one. You tell me when you want me to click over to the next one, but you go ahead and take this. You're the goalie expert.
So when we look at Jake Ottinger, I mean, this guy
One second. I'm sorry. Left side, Carolina. Left side is always Carolina. Right side is always the team that they're playing against, William. Good question, though.
I will say this. Jake Ottinger has performed in a stellar way. Like he is a top 3 goalie in the NHL. He's fit into his role. Again, he plays everything so well. He knows when to go up on top of the crease, go back, go hug the post to a VH position, or go butterfly, drop down butterfly, and be in those positions right in front of the net to, not panic and have that calm presence. Now, I've said this in our last sessions, Pyotr Kochetkov. The other day, he had a great game. I don't know if he listened to the podcast or not, but he was steady. He was slow, and not slow in a bad way. He set up, he played to his strengths, and did not spaz out right when it was close to the net.
He was much more controlled.
Yeah, I do see some concerns, though, near the post for those shots kind of near the post, because Jason Robertson is one of the best shooters in the NHL when he gets going. I think Kochetkov can win this game. It depends on the defense as well, but it also depends on how calm he is on each side of the post, and not to drop his stick, which is inevitable. But again, like you said, to beat Ottinger as well, you have to cover up his eyes. Even though he's not a very tall goaltender, his presence makes him look like he is a 6'5" goaltender who can move and see the puck so well, and that's his hand-eye coordination to a T. So this is going to be one of those games you have to take away the eyes. You have to be ready for the rebound. And for Kochetkov, he needs to stay steady. He needs to hold his position on the left and the right side of the post and be aware, not drop the stick, and be square to the puck.
All righty. Here's your next one.
All right. So a lot of these goalies let in those right in front of the net goals. And again, that has to do with the hand-eye coordination. Again, that has to do with Pyotr Kochetkov being a little bit spazzy at times. Now, you see a little bit of an increase right in the middle where you have 49 to Kochetkov and 70 to Ottinger, pretty close to the net. And I think that also has to do with the screen, but that also have to do with the quality of shots that we're doing. And again, at the blue line, there's a bigger increase on Ottinger. Now, the Hurricanes defensemen are not afraid to shoot. Brent Burns is not afraid to shoot. Neither is Orlov, neither is Gostisbehere, and that could either be on a tip or a shot right on net. Because again, these teams are very close, but I think the amount of shots that Carolina takes, it's a little bit overwhelming compared to Dallas's stats. So again, I mean, if Carolina wants to win this game too, they also need to be in front of the net, but they also need to get shots through from the blue line to increase a tip from a screen.
Sounds good to me. This has been your resident goalie expert segment brought to you by AB. All right. So you've seen where I do this before. Now I want to know what you think of all these.
Okay.
Overall 5-on-5 play, I say it's too close to call.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I call these potential advantages. So it's like, it's like, okay, for example, if they're up against a team that normally has a good power play, but it's been slumping, for example, I still say that the team that has a bunch of weapons on the power play is potentially better, even if they have a lower percentage. So these are all why I call them potential advantages, because I used to just call them advantages, and that got kind of murky. So I changed it up a little bit. So overall 5-on-5 play, offense and defense both, I say it's too close to call. Scoring forwards, as in guys you expect to produce, I say Dallas has a pretty definitive advantage there.
I agree.
Overall forward depth, expected scores plus depth, I would say Carolina, but it is still incredibly close.
Yeah, I agree as well.
All 6 defensemen, Carolina, but close.
Yep.
Power play unit 1, this was a tough one for me. I said Carolina, close. I almost said just close in general.
That
was a tough one.
I would more so say close, because you don't know what Dallas can do.
Yeah. Then overall power play, I called that close.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the second unit, like I would say, if I had to take a guess at which one's got a higher probability of doing some damage, I would say Dallas's second unit. But our second unit actually hasn't looked that bad lately, in my opinion. It's just not going in for them just yet. Penalty kill, marginal difference, far too close to call. They're within an eggshell of each other. Goaltending, Dallas, like definitively.
Oh, 100%.
I want Kochetkov
one of my
to get
favorites.
I want Kochetkov to get to that level, but he ain't nowhere near that yet. That kid is something else, that Ottinger boy.
He's got time. Ottinger's a gem of a fight.
Yeah. Overall advantage, I would say too close to call overall. This is going to be a very, very close game. The fatigue factor could hurt Carolina, but if this was done on a day of rest, this would be a close game.
Yeah, you also have Roope Hintz coming back into the lineup,
yes,
which is their star center. And he is very underlooked in the NHL. I will say Roope Hintz is a very top 15, I'd say top 10 center in the league when he's healthy and when he's playing to the best of his ability.
Oh, he's one of the best defensive centers in the league.
I don't know if they are going to be careful with Hintz. I don't know what the severity of the injury was. But if he's healthy and can go, it's going to be a problem for Carolina if he gets the minutes that he usually is used to getting.
All right. So winning elements. Carolina played last night. Dallas did not. Start the game on time. Lock in right from the get-go. If you can, get the first goal, because that's not been going on lately, but this is one of those nights where I feel like it's really critical. You're going to have a much harder time coming back against the Dallas Stars than you would against the 2025 Chicago Blackhawks. And honestly, I'm still kind of annoyed that they had to take it to overtime to win that game. They should have won that in regulation they should have won 4-2. But again, scoring below expected, but that's a discussion for a completely different video. So don't chase the game, get the lead and hold it. That kind of ties back to starting the game on time. If this turns into a total and complete war of attrition, Dallas will win. Carolina needs to get the lead.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll add to that, I mean, start the game on time, 110%. I think the second thing for me would be Kochetkov needs to stay calm. He needs
Mhm.
to stay calm. And the third thing for me would be able to navigate on Dallas's back check and their blue line. Because if you cannot get it past their blue line, it's not going to go well. Those are my three. And I'll be
Mhm.
watching Kochetkov closely, and I'm going to put some notes when I'm watching the game just to see how different he is towards Ottinger, and Ottinger's better by 100%.
Oh yeah,
But
it's a
still
country
curious.
mile.
Yeah, but still curious to see how Kochetkov does this game. And I haven't really been able to watch him as closely, but I think watching the TV broadcast, I'll be able to give you a better assessment
Mhm.
in the next episode of Caniac Sessions and on the warning take.
All righty. All right, then for these slides right here, I just want to show you guys. You've already seen this one. I didn't have time to fill it out, but what I do want to show off, this is the new way I'm going to be doing the 5-on-5 forecast. Excuse me. Difference is right underneath the Canes and the Stars logo here, for example, I'm only going to put the Corsi 4 percentage because like that's the over encompassing thing because it's all shot attempts. And then after that, it breaks it down by goals, frequency of goals, expected goals, frequency of expected goals, shots on goal, unblocked shots total, and high danger shots for. So that way you get kind of a picture. The reason why I put such a big emphasis on 5-on-5 is because that's the only way that a hockey game could potentially be played for a full 60 minutes. It'll never happen, but you know, that's how the majority of a game is played is 5-on-5. So I put a special emphasis on that personally. I'm going to come up with something to analyze power plays, a chart for that. I haven't decided just yet exactly how I'm going to do that. And then this is the new lines breakdown. What it's going to be is I felt like what I had going on before was a little bit too complicated. I might do something like that for the playoffs because then it would be a little bit more relevant because you're playing the same team over and over again. I'll probably have something like that then, but this is just one where I can illustrate expected goals percentage and goals percentage. Are you scoring above and below expected? Is that line a net positive, net negative, right about even? That's what that'll be in the future. And then for the 5-on-5 defense and total, we show the defense and then the total XG percentage of all the forwards and defense put together, the total goals percentage of all the forwards and defense put together. So looking for that happy median there with not too much information, but also wanting to paint a pretty broad picture so that everybody can see what's going on. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. AB, I also want to know what you think about it. So that way I can like tweak it before moving forward with it next time.
No, I like the way it's laid out in this part.
Okay.
And I mean, also, it's kind of hard to know what the away team's lines are going to look like because sometimes it's last second, like Carolina.
Yeah, basically
but
what I
the
just
way
try and
it's
do.
laid out is awesome.
Basically, what I try and do with the lines, I just go with the last combination, and if it's different, like there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah,
So
daily
like,
face-off's the one to get it from.
Yeah, that's one. And then that, and I go on game day tweets and just try to find the latest, like from whoever their like beat reporters are, like Walt always posts ours and everything like that. And that is the end of the slides. We will get some of the comments here, and then I'm going to make myself some tacos and watch the game. All righty.
Yep, I'm going to get some pot roast.
Yeah, we had a get together yesterday. We've got some leftover pulled pork and pulled chicken, so I'm just going to warm it up, throw some cheese on it, throw it on a tortilla, throw some sauce on it, and then we're good to go. Pat the ref says, "Let's go, Canes." Yes, Will. I'm going to let that get worked out. Don't worry. That's I'm working on that. That's a story for another day. Catherine, we already covered that one. Pete, what's up? Hey, dude, how you doing? Goose, see, I'm on to you. If we can get JT Miller from Vancouver, we should do it. We're so weak down the middle. JT Miller's not my first choice, personally. If I get the time to put everything together I want to get together for the visual aspect of it, I actually have 3 or 4 trade targets ahead of him. Granted, 3 of them are more than likely unattainable. As far as realistic trade targets of somebody the Canes could get and not break the bank and not clog up like roster spots for all these young kids we got coming up, Ryan O'Reilly is actually my first choice right now. He would fit in pretty seamlessly, and he is definitely the type of player that Rod likes. So that would be my number one target personally, as far as realistic ones go. My dream targets are Tage Thompson and Dylan Larkin. Neither one of those are happening. Honorable mention to Alex Tuck. That's probably not happening. If we could go get a winger, I think that guy would be a perfect fit, but I don't think Buffalo would be willing to move him. The one guy that's maybe from Buffalo that I really like personally is Dylan Cousins. If we could get Dylan Cousins, and unfortunately Nate just would have to go back the other way, but I'm also daydreaming about the Robinson, Cousins, and Svechnikov line. I want to see that happen. So I think that line would be absolutely killer.
It'll be close. I mean, to answer the Miller question, I'd be very happy to have him. Again, I've heard stuff about bad attitude, and I put this in the group chat too. Like, this could all be rumors, and this can all be true. I mean, it was the same thing with Tony D'Angelo and Brendan Lemieux.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, if you go to Carolina and Rod is okay with you going for that, it's not like he's going to take a difficult task and waste that on the franchise. Like, he knows. And I think also JT Miller is unhappy. I would be very happy if we traded for JT Miller, if we had to give up a first and trade Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
Of course.
And Jack Roslovic, I'd be totally fine with that. But if he gets traded to another team, hopefully not the Rangers, but they're looking like a front runner. I wouldn't be disappointed because, again, the season's not over and the trade deadline is 2 months away. So,
yes. And then let's see, we got some more here. Middle ice has been weak for a while. Yeah, we definitely got some problems there.
Couple years.
Okay. Kochetkov stick drops over or under 3.5. I also don't gamble, AB. I'll leave that one to you.
Under.
Okay. Rod needs to put the second unit out first on any PP. Right now, yeah. The second unit is better right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
Let's see.
I put Jordan Stahl on the power play. Put him in front of the net.
He's already doing a lot, dude, though. He's
matter.
He's pulling some pretty heavy. He is a tank, but he's also an old tank.
That doesn't matter.
I'm not saying he's playing poorly.
What is he, 36? He's doing
something like that.
Well, this is the new 20.
Yeah, okay. You say so. I'm 34 and I'm already starting to feel it, and I don't have a job like those guys. But then again, sitting behind a desk all day, they think that's worse for you now than smoking is. There's people who no, dead serious. They actually think that now. There's people who are going outside and, killing a pack of cowboy killers over the course of the day that are healthier than, people who never leave their desk. I'd make a point to get up from mine. I need to do it a little bit more. William, off topic, but what are your thoughts on the JT Miller rumors? We basically just addressed that one. We'd have to move some cap space to go in on JT. How much is JT making this year? 2 seconds, and I'll tell you because I don't remember off the top of my head. 8?
8.
Get Cousins instead. I'm okay. Here's my whole thing with JT Miller, and it's not even the fact that he's older or that he's got as long of a contract as he does or the cap hit that he does, because I think he could be a good fit. I'm just reluctant to take somebody on with that contract at that age. It's a combination of the two things. Whereas Cousins is still young. He's only 24. And the workhorse from Whitehorse, coached by Rod Brindamore, would become a powerhouse of a player. He's already good. So that's one of the reasons why I would target him. Now, the biggest reason I would take O'Reilly brings a lot of experience in. You can slot him immediately in the second line center. You can build a better second power play unit around him because he probably won't displace anybody on the first unless you trade Natchez to get him, which you would probably have to do. Then on top of that, when his contract is done, you have room for Felix Ungersorm. You have room for Bradley Nadeau to come up, whoever else. I'm primarily mentioning Felix Ungersorm because it looks like they're developing him to play center instead. And then there's also the possibility that the Canes maybe will finally draft a damn center. That would be nice. Because I can't tell you the last time when was the last time we drafted a center? Legitimately, one that made it to the NHL and everything. Because Aho wasn't drafted. He wasn't drafted as a center, though.
He was drafted as a left winger. That's right.
Yeah.
Elias Lindholm, maybe?
I think that was it. The last time that we legitimately drafted a
And
center
that was what,
Lindy.
2013?
That was a long damn time ago. We were still wearing the candy canes then.
Well, that was 12 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long damn time ago. Kochekov is like a cement mixer during games. He's effective, but always a churning mess. That's what we're going to call him from now on.
A cement mixer. Frankie.
Chill.
Frank's in the background.
He's always causing problems. Maverick says, making $8 million this season will be the tricky part. After that, we should be good. Yeah, and they won't retain anything on a contract that long.
No.
So,
but we're also getting rid of Natchez, which is $6 million.
Tage Thompson would be amazing, but that would never happen. No, that won't happen.
Nope, you'd have to get Natchez and Svechnikov in like 2 firsts to even be
actually
in talks.
Let's try Natchez, Drury, and 2 firsts and see if that did it. I'd be like, pull the trigger on it. Then we're set for years. Tage Thompson is like today's Eric Stahl, if you ask me.
Yeah,
like that's a player that I definitely see a lot of similarities in. The only difference is Tage has one of the best shots I've ever seen. The best shooting competition that I think there would ever be on earth is if you had him and Evan Bouchard see who could shoot all those targets faster in the net like they do in the skills competition.
Yeah,
that's the two guys I want to see do that.
And Sebastian Aho, former winner.
Yeah. Because I thought Pacioretty had a cannon and he does, but like Tage Thompson and Evan Bouchard, I think those two guys are the legitimately the best shooters in the league.
One-timer is beautiful.
Well, dude, his wrist shot, his snapshot, like if it involves shooting a puck, he's amazing at it.
Oh, God, 100%.
Let's see. Catherine Bartlett says, make Svech Aho Natchez happen.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I knew you were going to do that.
Absolutely not. That is a train wreck waiting to happen.
Well, no, there's 2 train wrecks there, and Aho would have to clean both of them up.
Exactly. 2 train wrecks waiting to happen.
William says, I'm excited to see Nikishin. You think he'll land a spot on the team this offseason when he becomes eligible? He 110% is going to make the team. So Nikishin is not a rookie in the traditional sense. It's going to be kind of like okay, Paniac, I will read that one. It's kind of like
I promise I'll do it. I just saw it.
But yeah, so no, Nikishin is like not a rookie in the traditional sense. Think of him kind of like Kaprizov. He kind of showed up primed and ready to go, and didn't have a whole lot to learn to be able to like move up the depth chart and pull more minutes and everything like that. In the event that there's an injury to a defenseman in the playoffs, Nikishin is probably the first guy in. Like, I could definitely see that happening. He'll be on the Black Aces and everything. He'll probably get a couple of games at the end of the regular season. And if all else fails, it's like he'll definitely make the team. There's no way that he won't. Morrow, I think, is about ready to make the jump, but a lot of teams are probably calling about him. Morrow is going to be great, but he's a player that I'm willing to part with for the right price, but not for less than like whatever he might be worth, whatever the market dictates. But right-handed puck-moving defensemen are always in demand. So if I like had to flip a coin to say part with Morrow, I would say don't part with Morrow. I really don't want to give up much of anybody in the draft pool unless we're getting someone really, really good back. And I don't think, for example, a JT Miller trade, there's none of our prospects I'm willing to part with to bring him in. I'm just not. There's a roster player or two maybe, but not anybody that we got in the future, even though he is he's a quantifiable asset. JT Miller is, like anybody else you would trade for in the NHL. Oh, I see why you're getting angry. You ain't got no water. Don't drink it so fast. The camel back there drank. Yeah, he drank all of his water again, like in like 5 seconds.
But he doesn't store it.
Yeah, he acts like I don't give him water. Paniac, I can't, buddy. I'm sorry. I can't make Burns to use Becca stand happen. I can't do that. I don't have the power for that.
I can't either.
Morrow could be traded because of Legault. Legault's a very different defenseman, though, even though I really like that kid. I really like that kid. All right. I am hungry. And
do you see the bottom comment?
No, I didn't. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. You guys are going to get me in trouble, man.
Not true, but whatever. All right. I'm going to eat my pot roast.
Well,
Good luck with the game tonight. Let's hope we get a win. I'm going to be watching closely on Code Checkoff.
Oh, dude, I gotta have you on here more often. Like the show went a whole lot smoother with you here. So especially the goalie part
because I'm the best.
I don't know about all that. Oh, great! Now I have to invite him on the show so that y'all can argue with each other while I eat my tacos. No, but I'm glad that like I'm glad you're there to do the goalie part because when it comes to goalies, I'm like, herder, stop puck. That's about all the fuck I know about goalies. So it's like, all right, everybody.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
You want to take that last question right there, though, before we call it a night?
What's up with Nick Suzuki? I don't know. Watch the Canadians. There's your
I get it now. He meant to say Ryan Suzuki, I think.
Ryan Suzuki. He's in the AHL.
Don't use that word in here. Don't use that word in here.
All right, on that note, let's go Canes.
That word is that word has to go bye-bye.
All right, let's go Canes. We'll see you another time.
We're hungry. Yep. I'll see y'all later.
All right, later, man.
Redvolution in 2025. Holy fuck. Y'all have a good night. Frankie. Hey. I got you. I got your order. Sit. Move.